Every animal on Earth lives in the future, but only one species seems haunted by it. Right now, somewhere in the world, a person is lying awake in bed worrying about a conversation that hasn't happened yet, thinking about a bill that hasn't arrived, imagining a mistake they haven't made, preparing for a disaster that may never occur. Meanwhile, a lion is sleeping, a deer is grazing, a whale is crossing an ocean. None of them appear concerned about what next year might bring, which is strange, because humans are not the strongest animals. We are not the fastest. We do not have the sharpest teeth, the thickest skin, or the most powerful muscles. And yet somehow our species conquered every continent, built civilizations, reached the moon and transformed the planet itself. Most people assume the answer is intelligence. The science suggests something more specific. Human beings may possess a psychological ability so unusual that it changed the entire course of evolution. An ability that allowed us to build cities before they existed, prepare for dangers that had never happened, invent tools for problems that did not yet exist, and fear events that might never happen at all. Because unlike every other animal we know, humans don't simply react to reality. We react to imaginary futures. And according to many researchers, that single ability may explain civilization itself. But it may also explain anxiety, existential dread, fear of death, financial stress, and some of the deepest psychological struggles humans have ever experienced. The strange part? The very thing that made our species successful may also be the thing that makes us suffer. And once scientists began investigating how humans think about the future, they uncovered a mystery far bigger than anyone expected. A mystery hidden inside your brain. Because at this very moment, your mind is already trying to predict what happens next. Most people think future planning is uniquely human. First glance, that seems obvious. After all, humans save for retirement, build universities, plant forests, write wills, create 5-year plans. Animals don't appear to do anything remotely similar. But researchers studying animal behavior discovered something surprising. Some animals seem capable of planning ahead. And not just in simple ways. One of the most famous examples comes from a bird, the western scrub jay, a small blue bird found in North America. Researchers observed these birds hiding food in hundreds of different locations. That alone wasn't unusual. Many animals store food. What surprised scientists was what happened next. The birds appeared to remember not only where they stored food, but what type of food was stored and how quickly it would spoil. If a hidden food source was likely to rot before the bird returned, it changed its behavior. It adjusted its strategy, planned differently. For years, scientists believed such behavior required complex future thinking. The implications were enormous. If birds could think about tomorrow, perhaps humans weren't as unique as we believed. But then researchers noticed something important. The bird was planning for the near future. Humans plan for futures they may never personally experience. And that difference changes everything. A scrub jay might prepare for next week's meals. A human might spend 30 years saving for retirement. A bird might anticipate hunger tomorrow. A human might design a cathedral that will not be completed until long after they are dead. The scale is completely different. And that raised a deeper question. What happened inside the human mind that transformed simple planning into an obsession with the future? The answer begins with one of the most fascinating discoveries in modern psychology: mental time travel. The term was introduced by psychologist Endel Tulving. His idea was revolutionary. Humans possess the ability to mentally transport themselves through time. Not physically, mentally. You can revisit your 10th birthday, relive your graduation, remember your first heartbreak. But you can also travel forward. You can imagine tomorrow's meeting, next year's vacation, a future version of yourself. And here's where the science becomes difficult to ignore. Brain scans revealed that many of the same neural networks used to remember the past are also used to imagine the future. Researchers expected memory and future planning to be separate systems. Instead, they appeared deeply connected. The same machinery that allows you to remember yesterday may also allow you to imagine tomorrow. For years, scientists thought memory existed primarily to preserve information. But evidence suggested something unexpected. Memory may exist because it helps predict the future. Think about that for a moment. Perhaps evolution didn't build memory so you could remember the past. Perhaps evolution built memory so you could survive the future. Suddenly, countless aspects of human behavior began making sense. Every experience becomes data. Every success becomes a lesson. Every failure becomes information. The brain stores these experiences and uses them to simulate possible futures. In many ways, your mind functions like a prediction engine, constantly asking one question: what happens next? And that's where the story becomes even stranger. Because once humans gained the ability to imagine multiple futures, evolution handed our species an extraordinary advantage. Early humans faced a dangerous world: predators, droughts, famine, harsh winters, competition from rival groups. Those who could anticipate problems before they occurred often survived longer. Imagine two individuals. One notices that food supplies are decreasing and begins preparing immediately. The other waits until the crisis arrives. Which one is more likely to survive? Generation after generation, natural selection favored minds that could anticipate future events. The ability to mentally simulate tomorrow became one of humanity's most powerful survival tools. Eventually, this ability changed everything. Agriculture required planning months ahead. Trade required planning years ahead. Civilizations required planning decades ahead. Entire societies became organized around futures that did not yet exist. Farmers planted crops for seasons they could not see. Builders constructed monuments they would never witness completed. Parents sacrificed for children whose futures existed only in imagination. Human civilization became a collaboration between reality and possibility. But every evolutionary advantage comes with a hidden cost. And this one was enormous. Because the same brain that can imagine opportunity can also imagine disaster. The same ability that allows humans to prepare can also make them worry. And this may explain one of the most common experiences in human life: anxiety. Most people think anxiety is a flaw, a malfunction, a mistake in the system. Evolutionary psychologists often see it differently. Imagine an early human who constantly considered potential dangers: predators, hostile tribes, food shortages, storms. Many of those worries would prove unnecessary, but occasionally one would be correct. And when it was, preparation could mean survival. Natural selection does not reward peace of mind. It rewards survival. As a result, the human brain evolved to detect possible future threats. Even when those threats are uncertain, even when they never happen. This explains something remarkable. A deer becomes frightened when it sees a predator. A human can become frightened by a thought. Nothing needs to be physically present. The future itself becomes the source of fear. And modern life amplifies this tendency. Our ancestors worried about local threats. Today, humans worry about global economies, climate projections, political instability, career uncertainty, social status, and events occurring thousands of miles away. The brain evolved for small tribes. Now it processes information from an entire planet. The result is often overwhelming. Yet something extraordinary emerged from this same system. Every major human achievement began as an imagined future. Before the first ship crossed an ocean, someone imagined it. Before the first skyscraper existed, someone imagined it. Before humans walked on the moon, someone imagined it. The future exists twice. First in the imagination, then in reality. That may be one of the most important facts about our species. Civilization itself is built from futures that once existed only inside human minds. Every road, every bridge, every hospital, every scientific discovery, every work of art, each began as a possibility before becoming reality. And perhaps that is why humans remain so different from every other creature on Earth. We do not simply experience the world. We continuously imagine worlds that do not yet exist. The deeper question is whether this ability is a blessing or a burden. The answer may be both. Future thinking gave humanity its greatest achievements, but it also created uncertainty, regret, fear, and existential questions that no other species appears to ask. Where will I be in 10 years? Did I make the right choice? What happens after death? What is my purpose? Animals may never ask such questions. Humans ask them constantly, perhaps because our minds evolved beyond simply surviving the present. They evolved to explore possibilities, to search beyond immediate reality, to imagine what could be. And maybe that is the defining characteristic of our species. Not strength, not intelligence, not language, but imagination directed toward the future. A deer does not wonder where it will be in 10 years. A wolf does not imagine retirement. A crow does not lie awake worrying about whether it made the right life decision. But humans do. The same brain that can imagine catastrophe can also imagine discovery. The same mind that creates anxiety can create science, art, technology, civilization, and hope. Perhaps our greatest evolutionary gift was never intelligence itself. Perhaps it was the ability to see a future that doesn't exist yet, and then spend our lives trying to make it real. Because in the end, humans are creatures suspended between two worlds, the reality we inhabit and the future we imagine. One is known, the other remains unwritten. And ever since our ancestors first began looking beyond the present moment, we have been staring into that unwritten future, wondering what comes next, preparing for it, dreaming about it, and sometimes fearing it. The future built humanity, yet it remains the greatest mystery we have ever faced. Because no matter how much we plan, predict, calculate, or prepare, tomorrow has always been unknown. And perhaps that is exactly why we can never stop thinking about it. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this, subscribe for more. See you in the next one.